Hey everybody, this is James Hernandez. How you all doing? I hope you guys are doing very well. Hope you guys are having a good Memorial Day weekend. And I am back for another video. And today I'm going to be doing another movie review. And this time is going to be a Disney movie, which I haven't really been reviewing any Disney movies on my channel. So I thought it would be a really good idea to talk about a Disney movie for today, since the recent live action Disney remake just came out this Memorial Day weekend. And today I'm going to be reviewing is Lilo and Stitch. Yeah, so Lilo and Stitch is a 2002 animated Disney movie that is the fifth film of the post-Renaissance era of Disney, and I think it's the 42nd Disney animated film of the Walt Disney Animation canon. So this movie is directed by Chris Sanders and I forgot the other guy's name. I think it's DD. I don't know, but there were the two guys that actually also directed How to Train Your Dragon from DreamWorks, and Chris Sanders also directed The Croods, which is also another DreamWorks animated film, and then he also did Call of the Wild, which I've never heard of that movie. But we're going to be talking about Lilo and Stitch. So Lilo and Stitch is a movie about a Hawaiian girl named Lilo who is living in Hawaii, and she is living with her older sister Nani, who are like struggling because of like they lost their parents during the car accident, and these two were also having like a rocky relationship. And Nani is also struggling to like find a job while also raising Lilo at the same time because she's the oldest sister. Otherwise, a social worker named Cobra Bubbles is going to take Lilo away from her. While that's going on, we were introduced to this experiment called 626, also known as Stitch. He was created by Jumba Chikiba, and he actually escaped from the Galactic Federation headquarters, and he landed on Earth, and then he was taken to the animal shelter that Lilo adopts him, which she thought that Stitch was a dog. So yeah, and while that's going on, we get to see Jumba and Pleakley, the two aliens that arrive on Earth to like recapture Stitch. So that is the plot of this movie. So this movie came out during the time, like in the 2000s, where the Disney movies were like not being as successful as they were like in the Disney Renaissance, because this movie came out during the time like when films like Fantasia 2000, Atlantis: A Lost Empire, and even before this was Treasure Planet, were considered box office bombs, and then it was like not doing so well for Disney in the 2000s. And that's also because like the other movies from other studios were making more money than Disney, like Lara Croft, Tomb Raider, and the first Shrek movie from DreamWorks, or even like Blue Sky's first animated film Ice Age, which those movies actually made more money than like what Disney was doing in the 2000s. So the 2000s was pretty much like a rocky start for Disney. But when this movie, Lilo and Stitch, came out way back in 2002, unlike Atlantis and Treasure Planet, it actually did become a huge success at the box office, becoming like one of the most successful animated films of the Walt Disney Animation canon. And this movie was so successful that it actually has spawned a franchise, like from like 3 direct-to-DVD sequels, 2 that actually spawned a television series, and there's even a Stitch anime. And then there was like a bunch of merchandises all over, like at Disney stores or even comic book stores that you would see nowadays. And even we also recently just got a live action remake. So after watching this movie as a kid, and then I rewatched this again as an adult just in time to be ready for the remake, and after I saw the remake, what do I think of the original Lilo and Stitch? I actually really enjoyed this movie. I thought this movie is very cute. I thought it was very emotional when it needs to be. It's just like, it's one of those like greatest Disney movies I have ever seen. So when the trailers first came out, when we saw the trailers for this movie, like check out this poster. Like you see like Stitch, and then you see the other Disney characters are just like looking down at him, just feeling very disgraceful. That's all except for Jasmine, who was turned on by Stitch. But the trailers for Lilo and Stitch is mostly like Disney was where Stitch actually was appearing like in the Disney Renaissance movies, like from The Little Mermaid, Beauty and the Beast, Aladdin, and The Lion King. Like first, like when Stitch like appears in The Little Mermaid, where he was surfing when he interrupts Ariel from singing "Part of Your World." Second is where he was in the dance room, like in Beauty and the Beast. And third was is when he interrupted Aladdin and Jasmine's song A Whole New World. And then Stitch pretty much just like steals Jasmine from Aladdin. And even the last time where we got to see Stitch replaces Simba when Rafiki was holding him during the Circle of Life at the beginning of The Lion King. Those trailers were like so funny because like it's been confirmed that Stitch has been like breaking and entering the Disney movies for years, which I was like, oh my god. So like, and it's so funny because of like it makes sense that they actually kind of like make Stitch pretty much like the ugly duckling or even the black sheep of them of the Disney characters, when the Disney characters, with the exception of Jasmine, all the Disney characters were just like looking down at Stitch, and they're just like disgusted by him, like seeing that Stitch is basically a troublemaker. But anyways, let's talk about the animation. So the animation in this movie is fantastic. Like whenever like you're in the Galactic Federation headquarters, which kind of reminds me of like something like out of a Buzz Lightyear cartoon, it looks really cool. And even like on the animation where we got to see Hawaii, it's just amazing. Like the colors of Hawaii just looks amazing. It looks beautiful. The animators did a fantastic job of the design of Hawaii, and this is pretty much like the first Disney movie or even the first animated film that actually does take place in Hawaii, which is something that we have never seen in a Disney movie, like either like before or after it. And the animators did a fantastic job. So yeah, I had to give credit to the animators for the animation. Now let's talk about the characters. Now we all know the characters in this movie. If you guys have seen this movie when you're a kid and then you rewatch it as an adult, like I do, the characters are so memorable, are so likable, and they're also really iconic. Like let's talk about Stitch. Now Stitch himself is basically the experiment, also known as 626, who was created by Jumba. And then at first, like he usually is like created by Jumba to like wreck things. But since he was adopted by Lilo, who thought Lilo was a dog, who thought Lilo thought Stitch was a dog, uh, Stitch actually does learn about the meanings of like Ohana means family, and then he actually does have a change of heart that Stitch actually does find a place where he actually belongs. So when he has like a good relationship with Lilo, especially with Nani, he actually finds a family of his own, and then he decides to stay on Earth, along with Jumba and Pleakley as well. All right, so okay, so before I move on to the next character, the thing I wanted to say about Stitch is that he, not only that Stitch is like one of the most adorable characters in Disney history, but there are moments but there are moments with him where he's pretty much a badass. Like the scene like where he was like fighting Jumba, like when Lilo's house was like pretty much like getting destroyed, and Stitch like just really like caused like havoc. And then Stitch is also one of the hilarious characters that you would see in a Disney movie, and he's so adorable and cute, and he's also incredibly strong. Like he was strong enough to like lift a building. He's strong enough to like lift a car. He is indestructible. He can see in the dark. Like all the details that Jumba said about Stitch, it's just what really makes Stitch like a really good character, probably an iconic Disney character, probably just as big as Mickey Mouse. Now, as for Lilo, now Lilo in this movie is voiced by Daveed Chase, who was also in other movies, like she was in Studio Ghibli's Spirited Away. She was also in two horror movies, like the remake of The Ring, where she plays Samara, and she was also in Donnie Darko. Now for Lilo, Lilo is actually one of the most memorable kid characters ever, like not just from Disney, but also from like movie history, because you actually do understand where Lilo is coming from. Like yeah, she can be weird at times, but she's she's violent, she can be a troublemaker, but you understand like where Lilo's coming from, and this is something that what real kids can be like. It's not like what we see the kids that are basically are nowadays, but when you see the kids back then and they're related to Lilo, it actually makes Lilo felt like a real child, because she really misses her parents, and then she doesn't really have any other family members other than just her older sister Nani. And you felt bad for Lilo. Like Lilo didn't have a lot of friends. She was an outcast, and she doesn't have any family members except for Nani. And then when you get to see her relationship with Stitch, It's very cute, and she actually does like teach Stitch about how to be good, you know, how to be a good person and all that. It pretty much like reminds me of like something like E.T., Bumblebee, and even the Iron Giant. And I thought the relationship between Lilo and Stitch is actually very genuine, and I think Lilo is actually one of the best kid characters of all time. So yeah, I mean, I actually really do like Lilo, and I think David Chase actually did a good job voicing her. Now let's talk about her older sister Nani. Now Nani is the older sister of Lilo, and she is the only one that has to raise Lilo on her own because, like I said, their parents actually passed away when they die in a car accident. Also, she was been like struggling to find a job. Otherwise, Cobra Bubbles, the social worker, is going to take her away. So eventually, Nani was also struggling about like getting a job and also raising Lilo at the same time. But just like with Lilo, you actually do understand where Nani is coming from, and the sister relationship between these two actually do felt like real sisters. And yeah, like they do bicker, they argue, sometimes they can't stand each other, but at the same time they cannot live without each other, and they really need each other. So the sister relationship between Nani and Lilo just felt so realistic. And this is also like the first time that a Disney movie actually does deal with with the sister relationship, just before Anna and Elsa from Frozen came out like in 2013. So yeah, like I think Nani is also like a very good character. She's also like one of the most underrated female characters in the Disney movie, in my opinion. And like I said about her relationship with Lilo, that it's very genuine, and you actually do root for Nani and Lilo to have like a good life, you know, especially like when they adopt Stitch. So yeah, I actually really do enjoy Nani as a character, and her relationship with Lilo is very genuine. Now let's move on to Cobra Bubbles. Now, Cobra Bubbles is a mysterious social worker, and he is like he's just doing like what he's just making sure that if Nani is being like a really good guardian to Lilo while getting a job, because if not, then he's probably gonna take like Lilo away from her. And that situation with Cobra Bubbles, like it felt so realistic, because like when your parents pass away, which is sad, and you're like the oldest sibling, and then you have to like take really good care of your younger sibling like a parent, and the social worker comes like to your house to visit, it felt real, and just making sure that you're being a good guardian. Otherwise, he's going to take Lilo away to a foster house or something. And yeah, it's very realistic, and it really shows that like not just from Disney, but even like from cartoons in general, does deal with with real issues that actually does happen in real life. And yeah, like when I first saw Cobra Bubbles, like at first I didn't like Cobra Bubbles, but as I watched the movie more often, I was like, okay, yeah, Cobra Bubbles has a deep voice, but you know, he's not bad. He's not a bad guy. He's not a villain. He's just doing his job. He just wants to make sure that that Nani is being a good guardian to Lilo. So I actually, yeah, yeah, and so now, like, unlike my childhood self, where I actually don't really get understand like what Cobra Bubbles is trying to do, but like at the same, but now as an adult, I actually understand where Cobra Bubbles is coming from right now, and why he's doing a job like this. Now let's talk about Jumba and Pleakley. Yeah, these two aliens are the comic reliefs of the film, and these guys are just hilarious. Like Jumba and Pleakley are just like trying so desperately to get Stitch back, and then Jumba is like he's an evil genius who created Stitch in the first place. And then Pleakley is the alien who is an earth expert who knows that mosquitoes are endangered species. And when they had to get Stitch, when they had to recapture Stitch, while not being seen by the humans, even though they can easily be seen because they're humans, and then they're basically are disguising themselves in Hawaiian clothes to look like us, which I don't know how that works, but yeah, it's pretty weird. But overall, but Jumbo and Pleakley are really funny, and the voices for those two is actually really good, and I do think they actually did a very good job. And they also have a change of heart as well, as being new family members of Lilo and Nani, when they know that that Stitch understands about what Ohana means, which Ohana means family. Now, so yeah, I think there's actually two more characters I want to discuss really quick because I don't think there's like a lot to say about them. One is David. Now, David doesn't have a lot to do in this movie other than he is the guy who's a good friend to Lilo. He has a crush on Nani, and he also likes surfing. And yeah, that's pretty much I can say about David. I think David, in my opinion, is probably kind of the weakest character in the movie. But I'm not saying he's a bad character. He's a good character, but but he doesn't have that much screen time other than he was just like either surfing or he's just like doing like a fire dance performance. And yeah, that's about it. Now, as for Captain Gantu, now Captain Gantu in this movie is pretty much like the main antagonist of the movie who wants to destroy Stitch. And did you know that that Captain Gantu is voiced by Kevin Michael Richardson, who also voices Bulkhead from Transformers Prime, Crunch Bandicoot from the Crash Bandicoot games, the Joker from the Batman animated show, not the Kevin Conroy one, but like the Batman show from the 2000s. And also he voices Roadblock from G.I. Joe Renegades. Now, Kevin Michael Richardson has been like voicing many characters in his life. And when I heard his voice, I was like, oh, I know who that is. That's Kevin Michael Richardson. That's the same guy who voiced Crunch Bandicoot, Bulkhead, Roadblock, and the Joker. And and there was like the sequence like when he just like captures Lilo, and then Stitch has to team up with Nani, Jamba, and Pleakley to go rescue her. And the climax, like where they were chasing Captain Gantu, was actually a lot of fun to watch. It's actually pretty creative, and it's really cool to see. Now, the thing about the climax of the movie that originally Jumba was supposed to use the aircraft airplane during the film, but they replaced it to their spaceship because the unreleased version of that scene from the movie was actually filmed during 9/11. So they actually so the movie was in production during like the terrorist attacks on 9/11 in 2001, and this movie came out in 2002. So Disney decided to change the scene. They replaced the airplane to the spaceship. And then we get into by the end of the movie where the Grand Councilwoman realizes that Stitch belongs on Earth with Lilo and Nani, and then Lilo gets to stay with Nani, and even Jumbo and Pleakley gets to stay, and then the ending of the movie is actually really nice. It feels like very genuine, and it's like Lilo, Nani, Stitch, Jumba, Pleakley, David, and even Cobra Bubbles are like enjoying their new lives, and then it is really nice, and it's like they're all like having a good time, and they're like the new members of the family, and then we get to see all the highlights of the pictures during the end credits while the song "Burning Love" was playing, and I was like, this is very sweet. This is like one of the nicest endings, one of the most beautiful endings I've also have seen in a Disney movie. And yeah, it's just such a good film. So overall, Lilo and Stitch is actually one of my favorite Disney animated films of all time. Like I used to watch this movie religiously when I was a kid. I even watched like one of its direct-to-DVD sequels. I used to watch like the TV series, which I don't remember too well. I haven't seen the Stitch anime myself, but maybe one day I'll check it out. And yeah, that's pretty much I gotta say about Lilo and Stitch. It's just like one of the greatest Disney animated films in the post Renaissance, and I highly recommend this movie to everybody, kids, adults, and the whole family. So yeah, I think that's all I gotta say for Lilo and Stitch. This is such a really good Disney movie. On a scale of 1 to 10, I'm gonna give Lilo and Stitch a strong 9 out of 10. This is one of the greatest films in the post Renaissance of Walt Disney animation, and I recommend this movie to everyone. So if you guys were like going to watch like a Disney movie on Disney Plus and you see Lilo and Stitch, or you even like seen this movie like sitting on the shelves, like on either on DVD or Blu-ray, I definitely will say go pick this up and go buy it. So folks, that is my review for Lilo and Stitch. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. And I would like to hear from you guys. Have you guys watched Lilo and Stitch when you were a kid? And if you rewatch it as an adult, what do you guys think of it? I would love to hear your thoughts. Comment below. Let me know. And also feel free to subscribe to my channel, hit that like button, and turn on the notifications when I make future videos. And stay tuned for the next movie that I'm going to review is Jaws 2. Since summer is approaching, and since I already reviewed the first Jaws movie last summer, the next video I'm going to be reviewing is the second Jaws movie. And yeah, and be prepared for that one. So, because I have a lot to say about Jaws 2 when I watch that movie and get to that review. So, anyways, guys, I hope you guys enjoy my review for Lilo and Stitch. And yeah, that's all I got to say. And have a good day. Take care of yourselves. This is James Hernandez, signing out.